everybody, this is GamingHoplite with a review of World of Tanks, a massive multiplayer game. Here we see the garage. This is the main screen while entering the game, and you see here a Mark III, Panzer III German light medium tank with a 5 cm gun. And on this screen you basically can see the crew of the tank. You can click through the available vehicles you have. In this case here, a tank destroyer, a Hetzer with a 7.5 cm gun, and some other German tanks, since I concentrated on playing them, but I also tried to include other nationalities like this British tank, this American, or this two Russian tanks. This one is destroyed, so I played with that and lost it. So what I will do now is click on the service button and repair the tank after battle so it can be used again. Now what you see here is the damage it got from the last battle, how much credit points gonna cost me, and how much ammunition I have to stack up. So I only managed to shoot 3 times before getting destroyed in the last battle. In order to avoid clicking on service every time, you can choose here to repair and resupply automatically, then hit accept, and every time it should be destroyed and we don't survive the battle, the program will take your resources and repair it automatically. Now what you can do here is of course try buying a premium account. A premium account enables you to gain credits and experience 50% faster for each battle you play. If you win, of course, you get more experience, so 50% on top of that. And this, however, costs gold, and gold has to be bought by using real money, which would be something like 1,000 pieces of gold, amounts to €5. Now if you want, of course, to be a premium member for the whole year, it costs 24,000. Good. With the gold you can do a lot of things. We will go through that in detail, but the other main resource you have is credit points, and these credit points are used, as you saw, for resupplying your ammunition or buying other tanks, or at least the majority of them. Now with the experience, you can research tanks by clicking on the research button, and you can see here that in this particular tank, the Russian BT-7, which is a light tank, I have researched almost everything except this communications system here, and of course I did not research the next tier vehicle. What you see here also is that there is a basic or base experience and a free experience. Now base experience is fixed to each tank, while free experience is some kind of bonus experience and can be used on any other tank as well. So you get the total, of course, always as a combination of base experience and your free or bonus experience. Now if you see, look at this tank, of course I have 2,300 and this tank 56, so I think you get the concept. What else you can do besides clicking through your tanks is, of course, on the main screen you can go to the depot and look through all the tanks you possess, have played through so far, or have right now in the garage, all the modules you have researched so far. You can also check the compatibility, how compatible they are with other tanks, and you can filter that by nation, of course. And as well, you can look at your stash of ammunition or at least the different kinds of ammunition for the different guns you have. Now the red ammunition is usually armor piercing, while the orange one is high explosive. Since you're fighting basically only tanks as opponents, or at least armored vehicles, I would recommend you to use armored piercing ammunition the majority of the time you play. Now equipment is something I have not checked out so far, but we can look at that in the store, and the same goes for consumables, which I don't have in the depot since I did not acquire them by using gold. Now if you go to the store, of course you can see that you can buy vehicles with credit points and with gold. These are special vehicles you can only buy with gold, and different nations have different special vehicles you can buy, but there are a minority. Usually the free accessible vehicles are definitely the ones you have to go for. The special vehicles allow you to jump forward in the game pretty quick, however it is costly, as we said. The same goes with modules, and here with the shells you see the first time that you can buy better ammunition, and it's better in case that it has a higher penetration rate. Not in this particular case, of course, but usually the composite Panzergranate 40, at least for the German tanks, has a higher rate of penetration, which of course gives you a small advantage in battle. Now equipment is something special you can fit your tank with, so like a camouflage net gives you more or reduces the detection chance, or you can put in a fire extinguisher and so on and so forth. These are consumables, of course, which we have to rebuy after every battle, and they cost experience. As soon as you want to get something more effective, you have to give either 50 gold or 20,000 credit points. Now there's also a service record page where you can scroll through the medals you acquired in battle by being victorious, and you can also check the statistics for each of the vehicles you played with and possess. You can check how many victories you had with this vehicle, how many defeats, how often it survived. So you see this one has a pretty crappy performance. Let's take one which is a little bit better. Okay, something like that. So also only survives times. Okay, this one's fine. The Mark II in the G version, and you can see that you check your battle performance, how many enemies you have destroyed, how many enemies you have maximum destroyed, your hit ratio, the damage you have dealt, total experience earned, and so on and so forth. This is more something for the statistic aficionados, but it's definitely a good thing to check once in a while. Now to one of the most important overviews here. Let's start with China. Usually every player starts in tier 1, so the first tier 1 tanks are available to everybody, and you have to play through them to upgrade them in order to acquire the second, and so on and so forth, thus advancing the tiers and getting more powerful and better tanks. Now I did not play with China or France so far. I basically played with Germany, the UK and Russia, but I'll demonstrate you the tier system with Germany since I have advanced here further. I started 2 weeks ago with the LT tractor like everybody, and as you see I tried to play through all the different available tanks that are attached to each tier in order to advance till tier 10, which is where the really big tanks are, like the Mouse or some prototype tanks. And what is important to understand about the tiers is that even if tanks are in the same tier, they have different purpose. Now, if you check here, you have, for instance, I played the Marder, which is a regular tank destroyer. And if I tried or used these two, I would get an artillery mounted on an armored vehicle, which is a self-propelled artillery, like the Vespa or the Grille, which of course has to fulfill artillery purposes. Now, here are lighter scout versions, Panzer 38, Panzer 35, or here a little advanced version of the Panzer 38. And here's the main battle tank of the German army, which would be the Panzer III in the A version, which is pretty weak, and the regular Panzer III, then advancing into Panzer III, IV, and then to the well-known Panther and Tiger tanks the further you progress. And the Lux, which was pretty much a pimped version of the Panzer II and Panzer I model. So as you see, I'm in 2 weeks I just managed to get from tier 1 to tier 5, or at least tier 4, and now collecting experiences in order to advance to tier 5. And but it's good to always check the tech tree in order to decide which tree, part of the tree you want to progress, since earning experience means that you have to play a lot. Now there's another interesting page, well, which is not very crucial for the game itself, but interesting if you're someone who wants to control each detail. In the barracks, you can look at all your drivers, gunners, radio operators, and so on and so forth, and check their statistics, their performance over time. So their service record, look at how high the experience level and training level is. You can also spend experience or credit points and gold in order to train them. Once you reach level 100, you can give them special skills, perks, which they can use in battle, thus giving you an advantage over other tanks. And you can customize them with hundreds of different photos and name combinations. This, however, costs gold, which of course is again attached to spending real money. Good. Before we start, 2 other bits of information. Now, once you see this little icon here, it means that I have researched this vehicle completely, and every experience I earn in a battle, I can decide what to do with it, and for this I have 2 options. One would be, if I unclick this, all the experience I generate will come here to the convert experience button, where then I can use gold in order to transform it from bonus experience to free experience. So conversion costs 1 gold for 25 experience points, and this is definitely a good option if you have a medium or good tank which is fully researched and usually fight against weaker opponents. The other option you have is to accelerate the crew training, which of course leads to the point that the experience you gain in battle is converted into experience for your tank crew for this particular tank. So this is also a very good option in order to increase tank performance. The other icon which is interesting and important for you is the star with the 2 here. This means that today, if I win a battle with this tank, for the first victory of the day, I will receive the double amount of experience, which of course I then can use in order to research. Now, in this particular tank, I should try win a game. I don't have much experience left, but enough, for instance, to buy a new suspension or research a new one, which I will do. So I spent 110 experience points and then just 650 credits, and to acquire the new suspension. New suspension usually increases the transverse speed and allows the tank to carry more heavier equipment such as a new turret. Okay, now let's jump into the battle. I'll take the Hetzer, which is very good tank destroyer, although it's very small. It has a 7.5 centimeter gun and can do a lot of damage. So let's see what it can do.